Board games used to be designed as a social activity, but last year the top games of the year shared one commonality. They could all be played solo. So what explains the rise in popularity of solo games? I'd like to argue that solo gaming doesn't exist anymore because of what I'm going to call the solo board gaming paradox, here on Legendary Tactics. We sometimes forget that though board gamers are often very social people, they can also be very solitary souls too. We're a community of people who also love to read, paint, collect, write, garden, hike, play instruments, or just sprawl out in front of the TV. So why isn't board gaming known as a solo hobby as well? Publishers and designers have already realized the potential for solo board gaming to explode, and some companies like Stonemaier demand that all their games be available as a solo experience. In fact, all of last year's most popular games were solo-friendly. They include Oath, Sleeping Gods, Bloodborne, Descent, Terraforming Mars, Ares Expedition, Imperium Classics, Red Rising, Destinies, Cascadia, and Ark Nova. The list goes on. Yet solo board gamers are still only 1% of all gamers, according to analytics from the Quantic Foundry. They did some research and found that only 1% of board gamers say that they'd like solo gaming better than all other player counts. Men and women are just as likely to be soloists, but solo gamers are on average 5 years older than 5+ player count game enthusiasts. So what changes with our age that makes social gaming more appealing when we're younger? Well, perhaps older players are more comfortable in their skins, or maybe they just don't spend as much time around a dorm room like younger gamers, or maybe the game mechanics appeal differently depending on the stage of life you're at. Now, looking at social gaming, some of the appealing mechanics for social gamers include bluffing, deception, negotiation. These are games like Werewolf, Avalon, Coup. Social gamers tend to enjoy more conflicts, such as stealing resources, blocking an opponent, or directly attacking them. Games like Catan or Risk, or a Game of Thrones, the board game. Finally, social gamers enjoy interacting, including laughing, cajoling, and exchanging banter, such as in games like Cards Against Humanity, Exploding Kittens, and Codenames. But there's a lot more to board games than just these mechanics. So what does a solo gamer look like? Well, first, they have an unnaturally high tolerance for games that are longer than 2 hours. They want to spend time with the game. Solo gamers are less inclined to the social mechanics such as bluffing and auctioning, but what really appeals to the solo gamer is immersion in the world of the game. Games need a rich story that leads the gamer into the lore, builds close connections with characters, and lets them escape to another world, whether that be on a distant battlefield, a jaunt through the past, or even on board a rocket ship to space. So this begs the question: what's changed to cause designers to make solo-friendly games? I believe that Gloomhaven marked the new age of solo gaming, an age when a person could spend 100+ hours exploring 95 campaigns. Gloomhaven is not only the most popular game on Board Game Geek now, but it's also the first game to really appeal to all elements that the solo gamers love. One problem we're faced with, though, is determining the difference between players who just love Gloomhaven and players who love Gloomhaven solo. I've put a poll in the community tab on our channel that asks players about this so you can see the data for yourself. In terms of huge games that predate Gloomhaven as a solo game, we have Terraforming Mars and Scythe, Agricola, Mage Knight, and Le Havre, but nothing else is even close to Gloomhaven. Well, maybe there's a case for Mage Knight, but it never did hit the mainstream in the same way. We're at the dawn of a new age, but now we need to know why. I believe it's connected to the rise of social media and because of the solo board gaming paradox. I would argue that today's solo gamers aren't playing games solo. Think of the interactions that happen. The days of slogging through a 50-page rulebook are long gone. Most gamers learn the rules from YouTube these days. I'm proud to say that as a YouTube creator, I enjoy making videos like this one to interact with individual people. In my videos, you'll never hear me say, "What's up, YouTube?" because YouTube isn't my audience. You are, one person, the individual watching this video right now. Our channel wants to build relationships with people one at a time. We want to build a community of gamers who come together to talk and think about games. So solo gaming often starts with an interaction between a creator and a gamer. But even before getting your game, part of being a collector is about researching the games before you add them to your shelf. Watching reviews and playthroughs and checking out the top 10 lists is another part of the collaborative journey of becoming a solo gamer. Sure, it happens asynchronously, but it's still a joint process. When the game hits the table, you now factor in the interaction between the game designer and the gamer. Someone has poured hours into building a world, assembling the game mechanics, and envisioning the story, bringing it to press. They've done that with people in mind. As I've had the chance to meet a lot of game designers through our channel, I've seen the sweat and tears that go into these games. And wow, some of their brains have massive worlds just bursting out into their games. So just as the meeting place between a writer and a reader is in a book, so too is the board game a meeting place between people. And that's not even the end of a solo gamer's interactions. After playing, you'll often become of online communities, chat on Reddit or Instagram, share your game photos, or comment on YouTube videos. If you haven't added a comment to this video yet, please do now. I love having those conversations with you. We make these videos so you have a place to put your thoughts, and click on the like button if you want more videos like this. So what is the paradox? The solo board gaming paradox is that even though a person may feel as if they're playing in isolation, they're actually not. Gamers all over the world are connected by their interactions with these games. The fact that you saw our video about solo gaming and are here watching this now is proof that this is true. It's no coincidence that solo gaming didn't take off until all of the infrastructure was in place to normalize the 1% of gamers who like the pleasure of their own company. But it's here now, and the games are getting better every year, and solo gamers are more connected than they've ever been to a thriving part of this hobby. So I say, there's no such thing as solo gaming, there's just parallel board gaming. My goal in identifying this paradox is partially to destigmatize solo gaming. It's not an antisocial behavior as some would assume. It's not a hobby relegated to the periphery of the board gaming industry anymore. It's rapidly becoming a core part of the experience. Solo gaming is a chance to improve your skills, de-stress after a long day, unplug from direct human interactions, take ownership over a fictional storyline, solve a puzzle, immerse yourself in a world where you might find solace or escape from your reality. Solo board gaming is restorative and stimulating because it's not really done in isolation. Rather, it creates remote associations and parallel experiences. I can even form these connections with someone else over space and time. And that's pretty incredible. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please consider joining now. We've got lots of other videos on solo gaming, and we'd love to have you come back when you can stay a little longer.